Hey guys, now Colvin with your fishing report for Shoals Lake. Today is Thursday, November 3rd. Lake level's at 654. I want to say we're about 4 foot low, which is kind of nice. Water temperature is still 64 degrees, and typically it's a little bit cooler than it normally is. And it's made it a little bit tough out there for you guys. I'll go over some of the stuff that's been working for me. Starting off the day, I like to catch them shallow. Who doesn't? If you're gonna go beat up the bank right now, you can catch a few fishing the 45-degree bank, channel swing banks with wind, throwing a rock crawler or wiggle wart. Those fish are few and far between. You can still catch a few on a buzzbait. You can catch a few on a buzzbait. Like I said, it's kind of slim pickings up there. Those fish just don't seem to be up there yet. If you do go into the backs to fish, some of the brush that has, flip some of the brush around. I'm throwing a beaver in there. That'll pick a few fish off. A lot of those brush piles that are in the backs are holding fish. Like I said, that's kind of sink or swim with that bite. If you do go out and fish the points, you can always catch them on Shoals on a jig. The little jig's working right now. The water's gotten a lot clearer this last couple days. I think we're kind of getting through some of that turnover stuff. So that being said, for me, this is the time of year where I like to throw some of the bigger baits, the bull shads and the glide baits and the stuff like that. And it hasn't been happening. I think we need temperature drop a couple more degrees and we'll be in good shape for some of that shallower stuff. The good news is, the deep bite, I don't care, what I got to do to catch fish. If I got to throw a drop shot, I will. The deep bite for me, there's a deep point bite if there's brush piles in it, anywhere from 20 to 40 foot of water. And it's just point hopping, point to point. I'm going to throw the old drop shot. The drop shot is catching quite a few fish for me. Like I said, some of these ledges and brush piles, I'm looking at them, graphing them before I even go in there and cast at them. You might hit 3 or 4 points. The points that have the brush piles on them or the deep ledges, by deep I'm talking anywhere from 25 to 45, 50 foot. Those are holding some fish right now. That's been a somewhat consistent bite for the last couple weeks. The other thing that's starting to happen is the shad are starting to get balled up back in the hollows and the backs of the creeks, about 3/4 of the way back. If you spend some time graphing, you will run into them. For me, that's been a great bite, but it's still not quite there yet. The shad, if you're fishing these shad balls, they're still kind of broken up here and there, but there are areas that have a little bit bigger balls of shad. If you graph them or if you're seeing the shad, these are in anywhere from 25 to 40 foot of water. That seems to be, kind of consistent towards 3/4 of the way back in the creek. But if they're sitting high in the water column, you can catch them on a swim bait. There's been days where they're pushing them all the way up to the surface, and you can catch a few on a small popper or walk the dog style bait, but it seems like you're going to get better hookup with a little swim bait, throwing a McMinnow down in amongst the shad. The other things, if they're on the bottom, I'm going to go throw a spoon on the bottom. if you graph and you see the fish and the shad down on the bottom, that seems to be the ticket. Just banging it right off the bottom. The other thing that's working would be the drop shot with a tater shad, or just a moon eye with, or the Demiki rig with the tater shad on it. Been having to dead stick it the last couple days, which is kind of weird, but you know, it's fishing day in, day out. That being said, some of those fish that are going through, you know, there's mega schools of fish grouping up around these balls of shad already. The jewel scope shad, if you get around these schools of fish, they're knocking the paint off of it. If you can get it through there and get it around them, this is great for these fish that are schooled up and suspended and don't want to come underneath the boat. That's been a bad little dude that's kind of been under my hat for a while. And then the old Rapala ice jig. That's going to get you some fish. Every day you're going to have to experiment and see what they're in the mood for. But that being said, it's November. It's like close to 80 degrees here today, so I'm not going to complain because it'll probably get real cold. But guys, it's tough. It should get a little bit easier. I'm still checking for that big wave of fish to come on the bank, but I still think we got a little ways to go. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe.